Okay. So I have brought a copy of Mark's IEP accommodations, and I just want to see if you're having any difficulty figuring out how to implement any of them, especially without them taking up large amounts of time, because really accommodations, they should not be something that you need to spend tons of time doing. It's something that the general education teacher should just be able to implement relatively easily. So his first accommodation is reducing large amounts of required reading because Mark is a student with a reading disability. Preferential seating near the teacher, making sure certain Mark understands directions, reducing large amounts of visual stimulation in the classroom, and the last one, which was the teacher will provide check-in and check-outs with Mark daily. So it's the last two that I really want to focus on. But do you have any questions about the first three accommodations?
Nope, not really.
Okay, great. So the accommodation that says reducing large amounts of visual stimulation in the classroom, you had stated that you put the homework on the whiteboard, but I'm wondering if it's possible that due to Mark's reading disability, it might be too many words up there. And not that he can't read it, but it just might be a little overwhelming for him to see all the homework with all the words. Is this something that could be a possibility?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Okay, so my first suggestion would be to kind of limit what you write on the board. And this is going to be helpful for all of your students because the homework, since it is so important, we want to make sure that they are paying attention to it and can easily get that information. So the last accommodation is the check-in and check-out for Mark daily, and I think that this is kind of the main focus of our issue. So, Mrs. Smith, I am fully aware of how valuable your classroom time is, and I completely understand that at the end of the day, you just do not have time to sit down with Mark for 30 minutes. I don't think, Mom, you expect this from Mrs. Smith either. So I would like to help develop a tool for you to use and for Mark to use in the classroom that will allow him to easily, independently take ownership of monitoring his grades, gathering all of his, or not his grades, monitoring and gathering all of his homework assignments and putting them in his own backpack. And Mrs. Smith, I would like you to help out just kind of monitoring and making sure that he's doing it at least correctly, but the goal is for him to do it on his own. And by using this tool, I really think that will help kind of organize him. Okay. I think we should start implementing this organizational chart on Monday. And Mrs. Smith, we will need to collect some data on how well Mark is utilizing this tool. So again, the goal is for him to gain more independence and for you, Mrs. Smith, to decrease the amount of time that you're having to assist him with this. Okay. Don't be surprised if the first week it takes him a little bit of time, but I'm thinking that once he kind of gets the hang of it, he really will gain a lot of independence through this tool. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah. Okay.
Great. So let's plan to meet in 1 month. And during our next meeting, I would like to look at the data that shows how many minutes you're spending with this tool. So Mrs. Smith, I have a little data collection sheet that I'm going to hand to you that just asks you to kind of monitor how many minutes Mark is spending using this tool and how many minutes you are spending using this tool. Because we really want to get it down to like a 5-to-1 ratio. For every 5 minutes that Mark is spending on gathering his homework, you're only spending 1 minute, okay? The other thing I would like to look at the end when we meet again is to look at his grades and see if there's any improvement in that. Okay? So, wonderful. So this is definitely something I think, well, when it comes to his grades too, I really think Mark should be monitoring his own grades. So Mom, if you could make sure that Mark is checking his grades at least once a week, and I think maybe every Friday he should be checking them. I think that's one thing that he can really start to gain some independence that way. And then we can kind of work together in making sure that